Welcome back. We all rely on rideshare drivers to get around from time to time. Driving is a popular side hustle for many people here in the Valley, but a few have some questions. Sergeant Miguel Garcia joins us now with the answers. Good morning, Miguel. How are you?
Good morning, Alyssa. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're happy to have you back in studio.
I'm happy to be here.
And we love our viewer questions. Now, just last week, we spoke, Miguel, about the increase in traffic safety deaths, and rideshare companies are taking action on the tragic trend. A few weeks ago, Uber released a new feature, a push notification alerting both drivers and riders to buckle up as soon as the ride begins, but that doesn't mean people will listen. So one viewer wrote in to us asking, and here it is on your screen for you at home, as a rideshare driver, is it my responsibility to make sure passengers buckle up? So do you have rules on this for rideshare drivers?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, first thing we have to understand is the laws apply to everyone, regardless if it's your own privately owned vehicle or if you're getting into a taxi or a rideshare. It's still your responsibility to buckle up. If you're 18 years or older and you're in a vehicle without a seatbelt, the driver's not the one that's going to be cited. You as an individual is going to be cited for that. Now, as far as the question goes, is it the responsibility of the driver? The only responsibility the driver has is to advise them to buckle up. And then he has to determine, or she has to determine, do I want to take these individuals from point A to point B, risking that they're not using their seatbelt? So you always have the right to refuse service if you're not comfortable with your passengers.
And I know that this driver in particular had reached out to us basically saying, you know, they're afraid of getting bad ratings by telling someone, you know what, I don't want to drive you if you're not going to buckle up, or if they're insistent on buckling up, which is why Uber kind of put out this alert in the first place, to get them to do so, cutting out the middleman. So you're telling us it is not the responsibility of the driver, it is the responsibility of the passenger.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's the responsibility of the passenger, but you know, the idea of being worried about ratings, you have to think about it this way. Am I worried about a rating, or am I more worried about this individual being hurt in my vehicle if we get into an accident, whether the accident is my fault or not? We have to take that in consideration, and it's very important for us to understand that.
Definitely. Miguel, what else do you see when it comes to rideshare drivers?
Well, we see a lot. We see a lot. I mean, there's a video out there, I don't know if you've seen it, of a passenger that went into the car, and he had an open container. And the driver did the right thing. Advised him, hey, you can't have an open container in a vehicle, it's against the law. And unfortunately, the passenger reacted by throwing the drink in the passenger seat, and he was asked to leave. It is the driver's responsibility to ensure that you're following all the laws and explaining that to the passengers.
And I think a lot of people do think this, that they're getting a ride, therefore they don't have to buckle up in the back seat, and they can bring their drinks. I mean, a lot of people come to town, it's Vegas, and on the Strip, you know, you can walk around with an open container. So a lot of them just maybe assume, or maybe they don't care, that they can bring that drink into the car.
And that is true. It's just like the seatbelt thing, right? But one thing to remember for the people viewing this interview here is, just because the law says that you can walk with your drinks from one casino to the other, it doesn't mean you can be in a vehicle with an open container, and that's important, unless there is a special permit for like limousines and party buses and things like that. Besides that, you shouldn't be getting into that car.
And then quick question, because we're out of time, who gets the citation if a passenger has an open container in the car?
The passenger does.
Okay.
As long as the driver doesn't have it in his or her hands, it's the passenger.
All right, Miguel, thank you so much. And we love answering your questions. So if you have one for Metro, please send us an email to behindthebadge@fox5vegas.com.